Okay, so picture this for a moment. Imagine someone who, for like 80 years, lived with this just incredible inner calm.
Mm,
Someone who couldn't recall even one thought of ill will or, even a fleeting desire.
right.
And get this, for that whole time, never got sick, not once. Never needed medicine, apparently never even laid down to sleep.
It sounds impossible, doesn't it? Like something straight out of mythology.
Exactly. Yet, there are these ancient texts that tell of just such a person. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into one of those texts from the Buddhist tradition.
Hmm.
It's specifically the Bakkula Sutta. The full name is quite a mouthful. Bakkulattheracchariyabbhūtasuttaṃ.
Yeah, quite a name.
And our mission really is to try and pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge
Yeah.
about this truly unique figure, the elder monk, Ayasma Bakkula.
Right. In this text, the sutta, it's basically a record of what it calls his amazing and wonderful qualities. That's the translation of Acharya-bhūta.
Oh?
And it's way more than just, a historical account. It really presents this powerful vision of spiritual attainment. It kind of challenges our modern ideas about what self-mastery can even look like. So we'll explore what made his life so extraordinary and maybe more importantly, what lessons, if any, we can actually take away from his example today.
Okay, let's do it. So let's set the sair. Where does this all happen? We're starting in the ancient city of Rajagaha. Specifically in this peaceful bamboo grove called Vaivana Kalendakani-vapa. That's where Ayasma Bakkula is living.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, an old friend shows up, a guy named Acelo Kassapa. He used to be a householder, like Bakkula, but now he's a wandering ascetic.
Yeah, it's quite a meeting, isn't it? You got these two guys who knew each other way back when, living totally different lives now.
Right.
Kasapa's still searching, wandering,
Yeah.
And Bakkula's been deep in this monastic practice for decades with this unbelievable commitment.
So it feels natural that Kassapa would ask some deep questions.
Exactly. Their old friendship kind of opens the door for Kassapa to ask something pretty personal.
And he really goes for it. He just asks Bakkula straight up, how long have you been ordained?
And Bakkula's answer.
Immediate. 80 years.
80 years. Just pause on that. That's a whole lifetime for most people.
It really is. And then Kassapa asks the follow-up, the one that, might make you squirm a bit. He asks, okay, in these 80 years, how many times have you engaged in sexual conduct?
Wow. Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting, right? Because Bakkula doesn't just answer yes or no.
No, he immediately corrects the question itself.
Which tells you so much about his focus.
Yeah. He says basically, friend, that's not the right question to ask. He says it should be. In these 80 years, how many times has a sensual perception arisen in you?
Ah, the perception. So moving it straight to the mental level, away from just the physical act.
Precisely. It's about the inner experience, the arising of the thought or feeling itself.
That shift is crucial. It really sets the stage for understanding the depth of his attainment.
And then comes the answer, which is just, well, it's stunning.
Go on.
Bakkula states, flat out, that in 80 years of being ordained, he cannot recall a single instance of a sensual perception arising in him.
Not one.
Not one. Not the action, obviously, but not even the perception, the thought, the impulse, the feeling. Nothing.
Wow. Okay. That is hard to wrap your head around. What does that actually mean, that level of clarity?
That's what I keep thinking. What does that signify?
Well, I think it points to a mind that's become so incredibly still, so purified, maybe, that the actual seeds of that kind of disturbance, those sensual perceptions that usually lead to desire or attachment, they just don't find any fertile ground. They don't even sprout.
So it's like the root is gone.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Imagine the freedom in that, the sheer energy that must be liberated when your internal world just isn't being constantly churned up by those fundamental human drives. It suggests a complete transformation right at the very base of his being.
That's a powerful way to put it, a complete transformation.
Yeah.
But his discipline, it wasn't just about thoughts, right? The text goes into much more detail.
Oh, absolutely. It permeated every aspect of his life. The sutta then lists this whole series of things he never did or experienced for those entire 80 years.
Okay, let's unpack that. This isn't just a list of rules he followed.
No. It's more like a testament to this radical transformation. Think about his inner state first, his mental purity.
Right.
For 80 years, the text says, Bakkula never had perceptions of ill will by apadasanya or harmfulness via sasanya.
No ill will or harmfulness.
And similarly, no thoughts of those things either. No sensual thoughts, bhamavitakka. No ill will thoughts by aparavitakka. No harmful thoughts by savataka.
So both the perception and the more discursive thought. gone for 80 years. Imagine never having a malicious thought, not even once. That seems like the absolute core of it.
It really does. But then there's his detachment from material things, which was also quite extreme, especially around robes, the basic necessity for a monk.
What about the robes?
Well, the text is very specific. He never accepted a robe offered by a householder, never cut one with a knife, never sewed one with a needle, never dyed one.
Wow.
He never even sewed one during the Kathina ceremony. That's an annual tradition where monks get new robes. And he never supervised other monks making robes either.
Okay, that level of self-sufficiency, even for something as basic as robes,
Yeah.
what's that telling us? It feels like more than just being practical.
Oh, definitely. It points to this radical non-attachment, doesn't it? It's not just about being simple. It seems like a deep psychological independence. Almost like he wanted zero reliance on the external world, even for things typically accepted within monastic life, prioritizing that inner freedom above all else.
Okay, and this extended to how he interacted with people too.
Very much so. His boundaries were incredibly strict. He never accepted invitations, especially the text notes if he'd kind of wished for one beforehand.
Interesting detail.
Isn't it? He never sat or ate inside a house, never looked closely at a woman, observing her features in detail, and he never taught the Dhamma, the teachings, to a woman, not even a short 4-line verse.
Really, not at all.
Apparently not. And he maintained strict separation from female monastics too. Bhikkhunis, Sikkamanas, Samaneris, these are different stages of nuns or trainees. He never visited their residences or taught them either.
So this paints a picture of someone intensely focused inward, right? Maintaining these extreme boundaries to avoid any potential distraction, any attachment. How important do you think that deep solitude was?
It seems absolutely foundational to his practice. For Bakkula, it looks like cultivating solitude wasn't just about being alone. It was an active strategy to protect his inner state.
Right.
By managing his interactions so meticulously, he was basically maximizing the conditions for that profound inner stability to just deepen and deepen without any external noise messing it up.
Okay. And then there's the physical aspect, which is maybe the most mind-bending part.
Yeah, this is where it goes beyond what we normally think is possible. His self-reliance here is astonishing.
What does it say?
Okay, so he never ordained anyone else, never gave the higher ordination, never took on the responsibility for another monk's training, never even attended to a novice.
Keeping his focus entirely on himself.
Seems like it, but then it gets even more striking. He never bathed in a bathhouse, never used bath powder, never allowed other monks to, massage him or care for his body.
Okay.
And then the big ones. He never experienced any illness. The text says, not even for a moment. And Tommaso Gadahanamatampi, not even for the time it takes to milk a cow.
Seriously, no illness in 80 years.
Apparently not. And he never used any medicine. Not even, it says, a tiny piece of medicinal herb.
That is just staggering. And there was something else too, wasn't there? About posture.
Yes. He never leaned against anything for support.
Yeah.
And he never lay down.
Never lay down. For 80 years.
For 80 years.
Okay. I mean, for those of us who need coffee just to function, the idea of never lying down, it sounds completely alien. What do you even make of that? That physical resilience, the constant wakefulness. Is it connected to his mental state?
I think it has to be, right? This is maybe the most profound piece. The total absence of illness, the lack of any need to lie down. It strongly suggests this extraordinary equilibrium between his mind and body.
Like they were perfectly in sync.
Exactly. It implies a state where the sheer peace of his mind manifested directly as perfect physical health and somehow constant wakefulness. It's as if his inner mastery just eliminated the conditions that normally lead to sickness or fatigue. It hints at this incredibly integrated state of being.
Wow. And just to round out the picture of his solitude.
Right. The text adds one more detail about his environment.
He never spent the annual rainy season retreat in a monastery that was near a village.
Just reinforces that preference for deep solitude, detachment from even the normal communal life of monks living near lay supporters, complete dedication to that undistracted inner path.
Okay, so amidst this incredible list of nevers, this life of extreme discipline, there's a detail about how he actually reached this state, isn't there? Something about his initial attainment.
Yes, and it's fascinating because it's so swift. The text says he only ate the country's alms food, meaning just living as a monk, for 7 days.
Only 7 days.
7 days. And on the 8th day, profound knowledge, anyodapati, arose in him.
So enlightenment, or a very high stage of it, happened almost immediately.
That seems to be the implication. And if you connect that back to the 80 years of nevers, it suggests that Bakkula reached this profound state incredibly early, maybe right after ordaining, And the following 80 years weren't about him striving for enlightenment.
They were about him living it.
Exactly. Embodying it, demonstrating its effects day in, day out. He wasn't working towards the goal. He was living from the goal.
That changes the perspective entirely. So his friend Kassapa is hearing all this.
Can you imagine hearing this firsthand account of such an extraordinary life?
It must have been incredibly inspiring. Because what happens next?
Well, completely moved by Bakkula's story, Acelo Kassapa asks to ordain right then and there in that Dhamma and discipline.
He does.
Yes, he receives both the lower ordination, becoming a novice, and then the higher ordination, becoming a full bhikkhu or monk.
And then, does it take him long?
This is the beautiful part, showing the power of influence, the power of a living example.
Right.
Kassapa, just like Bakkula in a way, attains arahantship very quickly.
Really? That fast?
Yes. The text says he realized for himself, destroyed his birth, the holy life has been lived, what was to be done has been done, there is no more for the state of being. The classic description of attaining enlightenment.
Wow. So Bakkula's lived example directly catalyzed Kassapa's own awakening.
It certainly seems that way. It demonstrates the sheer efficacy of the path when someone is truly committed, spurred on by such a powerful living testament like Bakkula.
Incredible. Okay, so we've seen his life, his discipline, his influence. How does his story end? Is his death as unique as his life?
It is, in its own way, very controlled, very serene.
How so?
Apparently, Bakkula knew his time was coming. He walked from one monk's residence to another, holding a key.
Holding a key?
Yes, maybe symbolic, maybe practical. The text doesn't elaborate much on the key itself. But he goes around announcing very calmly to the assembly of monks, "Venerable sirs, my final passing, my purinibbana will occur today."
He just announces it.
Announces it, clear, composed, and then, true to his word, while seated peacefully right there amongst the other monks, he passes away.
While seated, not lying down, even at the very end.
Exactly. Consistent to the very last moment. This serene departure, announced in advance, witnessed by the community. It's another testament to his complete mastery, his fearlessness, even facing death. It just perfectly encapsulates the achievement of his entire life. Total control, total tranquility.
Wow. Our deep dive into the Bakkula Sutta.
Yeah.
It really has revealed just an astonishing life, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
From that impeccable mental purity, the almost unbelievable physical discipline, the deep self-reliance, and then that peaceful, conscious passing. Ayasma Bakkula really stands out as this beacon of what extreme self-mastery could possibly look like.
He really does. And his story fundamentally challenges so many of our modern assumptions about what's possible, you know, in terms of inner freedom, detachment. It's a stark reminder that, well, knowledge isn't just about learning facts or ideas. It's about application. It's about transformation. It's about how that understanding actually manifests in every single aspect of your being. Bakkula seems to be the ultimate example of that.
We really hope this exploration has given you listening some,
well,
some profound aha moments, perhaps. It certainly did for me.
Me too.
So as you reflect on Bakkula's extraordinary existence, maybe consider this provocative thought to take away. In our world, which is just constant information overload, constant external demands pulling at us, what aspects, if any, of Bakkula's unwavering inner discipline resonate most strongly with you? And perhaps more practically, how might even a tiny fraction of that kind of focused presence impact your own daily experience of calm and clarity?